What if I told you there was a book, a secret book, that claimed to hold the code of reality itself? I'm not talking about something from a modern scientist or philosopher. I'm talking about ancient mystic wisdom, knowledge considered so potent, so world-altering, that it was hidden away for thousands of years. Well, today, we're breaking that seal. Right from the start, the Kybalion gives us this warning, but it's also an invitation. It's telling us that this isn't just information you can casually consume. No, this is knowledge you have to be ready for. It's something you have to earn. So, where on earth did this powerful knowledge come from? Well, it's all attributed to this legendary figure named Hermes Trismegistus. They called him the Thrice Great. His teachings, these 7 universal laws, were passed down in secret from master to student for ages. And now they're collected in this one book, the Kybalion. And this is the core question the book forces you to confront. The idea is simple, but it's huge. If you ignore these 7 laws, life will feel like it's just happening to you. But if you understand them, if you master them, well, then you go from being a pawn on the chessboard to being the player. All right, our journey into the code begins right here, with the most important principle of them all. Seriously, everything else is built on this one idea. This is the master key that unlocks the whole thing. So the first law is a real mind-bender. It says that everything we see and touch, the entire universe, isn't really material at its core. Instead, it's a vast, living, mental creation held in the mind of what the book calls the All. You can think of it as a universal consciousness or a divine mind. And this makes perfect sense when you bring it down to our level, right? Think about it. Before that chair you're sitting on was a chair, it had to be an idea in someone's mind. Before a house gets built, you need a blueprint. The Kybalion takes this one step further and says that thoughts aren't just little passive clouds in our heads. They are the literal blueprints of matter. This first law leads us directly to the second one, which is probably the most famous Hermetic phrase ever. As above, so below. It means the patterns of the universe repeat on every single level. The laws that run a galaxy are the same ones that run an atom. And here's the part that matters for us. The laws that govern your inner world, your thoughts and feelings, directly create your outer world. And here is the practical, no-nonsense takeaway. Your outer life is literally a mirror of what's going on inside you. You know, if your room is a total mess, chances are your mind feels pretty chaotic too. If your life feels out of control, the work isn't out there trying to fix the world. It's in here. You can't change your life by yelling at the mirror. You have to change the person in the mirror. And the reflection has no choice but to change with you. Okay, so if the universe is mental, how does it actually work? What are the mechanics? These next few principles are all about the energetic nuts and bolts of our reality. The third law says that absolutely nothing is standing still, ever. Everything is in constant motion, constantly vibrating. And you know what? Modern physics totally agrees. At a subatomic level, there's no such thing as solid. Everything, from a block of granite to a beam of light to even a thought you're having right now, is just energy vibrating at its own unique frequency. And this is the secret. This is why the old alchemists were so obsessed. They weren't just trying to turn physical lead into gold. The real alchemy, the great work, was about turning the low, heavy vibration of things like fear and ignorance into the high, light vibration of courage and wisdom. It's all the same stuff, you see, just vibrating at a different rate. Which brings us right to the fourth law, polarity. This one tells us that things we think of as total opposites, well, they aren't separate things at all. They're actually just two ends of the very same stick. This is the mechanism for how we can actually change things in this mental universe. It gives us a scale that we can consciously move up and down. This chart here shows it perfectly. Hot and cold aren't two different things. They're just different degrees of one thing called temperature. Same with hate and love. They exist on a single spectrum of emotion. And if they're on the same scale, that means you can actually travel from one end to the other. So this right here, this is the how-to guide. This is mental alchemy. It's the art of changing your own mental state on purpose. A master isn't just a victim of their moods. They recognize, okay, I'm feeling fear right now. Then they consciously and willfully raise their mental vibration up the scale toward courage. It's like turning up the thermostat on your own mind. Okay, so we've got a mental universe that works on vibration and polarity. But what does that look like over time? How does it all play out? These next two laws are all about the natural flow of things and the unavoidable consequences within the system. Law number 5 is rhythm. Everything has cycles. Everything ebbs and flows. After a high, there's a low. After a success, there might be a failure. Life is just like a pendulum, constantly swinging from one pole to the other and back again. Now, most of us just get thrown around by this pendulum, right? We're sleeves to our good moods and bad moods. But the Hermetic Master uses something called the law of neutralization. They know they can't stop the pendulum from swinging. That's impossible. But they can learn to mentally rise above the swing, finding a stable center so they're not totally carried away by the highs or crushed by the lows. And now for law number 6, the one that leaves zero room for excuses, cause and effect. The Kybalion is crystal clear on this. There is no such thing as luck or chance or coincidence. Every single thing that happens in your life is an effect that had a cause, and every cause you set in motion will create an effect. What we call chance is just a cause we haven't figured out yet. This is a massive, massive call for radical personal responsibility. When you really truly get this, everything changes. You stop playing the victim. You stop complaining about all the effects in your life. You realize you have the power to become the master of your life by consciously choosing the causes you set in motion today. And that brings us to the final principle. This is the one that ties all the others together. It's not just about knowing the laws anymore, it's about using them all in harmony to consciously create the life you want. This is where we achieve true mastery.
The final law is the principle of gender. Now, it is absolutely crucial to understand this has nothing to do with physical sex, not at all. It's talking about two universal energies, the masculine and the feminine principles, that exist in everything and are both required for anything new to be created.
And this lays it out perfectly. The masculine principle is that active, projective energy. It's the will, the action, the doing. The feminine principle is the receptive, creative energy. It's the intuition, the imagination, the womb where ideas are born. To bring anything into reality, you need both. You need the creative vision of the feminine, and you need the focused will of the masculine to make it happen. True mastery is all about balancing these two within yourself. So, in the end, that's what this ancient, secret book really claims to be. It's not asking for your worship, it's not a belief system. It presents itself as a tool, an operating manual for your own mind and for the universe itself. And so we come full circle, right back to that first warning. The principles have been laid out, the ancient code has been shared, but now the final responsibility comes back to you with this one simple question. It's not about just hearing the words, it's about understanding. So, do you have ears to hear?